my policies. I'm going to bring lane splitting to Iowa. Looks like we got to turn around. Got a little event going on. You ever ordered something online and then slowly realize you just made a donation? That's how it went with the windshield and me. Starting back in 2023, I paid a company called Rifle to send me a windshield. And they took my money and gave me a place in their queue. And then I guess closed for spiritual reasons. By 2025 they were gone. Off the map. Out of business. No refund, no apology, no windshield.
I ain't asking for the world here. I'm just asking for an 8-ball and $2 million. You won't even help out your sweet old Uncle Baby Billy.
Just a quiet thanks for believing in us. As they slipped into bankruptcy like a magician in a puff of smoke, I moved on. But don't worry, I'm going to tell you the whole story when we get where we're going. Should be just here in a minute. Right now, we're just riding out to Easter Lake, enjoying the calm before the window storm. And I want to be clear, I'm not just crapping on Rifle. I don't really know the particulars of what all happened. I just know I paid for a product, and at last look or last search, I can't find that company anymore. So I'm making some broad assumptions, but I also have the emails between me and the guy I was chatting with from the company to go off of, and I think some of my assumptions are pretty valid. Let's get to the story, and you can decide for yourself. Alright, here with the lake as my backdrop, thought I'd tell a story about a windshield that I thought wasn't meant to be, until it was. So, a lot of you know, who follow the channel, know I own a 2002 Kawasaki Concourse. And man, I love this bike. I call it my work truck. It's my go-getter, the grocery getter, the all-arounder, the one and done. I own a Harley. I've had some other bikes. You know, they say you always regret selling a bike, never regret buying one. Well, a while back I sold the Concourse. Had the opportunity to buy it back. So I did. And just like that, we were tied at the hip again. Back to my story. The year was 2022. I had been looking for a better windshield than the stock one. Not that there was anything wrong with the stock design. It actually seems to load the front tire quite a bit with down pressure and really keep the front end planted. Otherwise it can kind of feel like it's floating around. Well, my original windshield had a lot of cracks in it, and it was only going to be a matter of time before it broke apart and maybe even in my face. Don't want that. So I started looking around, seeing what was available. Two companies stood out. One called Rifle Fairing and one called Madstad. Madstad had quit making their windshield for the Concourse. Very cool, adjustable. Well, they quit making that one some time ago, and even though it's still listed on a few people's websites, including Revzilla, it's completely out of stock with no time frame of when it'll be back in stock. So that wasn't an option, but Rifle Fairing was. So 2022, sent them the money and waited. 2023 comes around. By now I've replaced the windshield with a Buddy Bezos one. Very simple, little cutout for air, kind of nice. Had some undesired effects. Seemed to unload the front end and make it feel real wishy-washy, which isn't something you want when you're trying to lean. So I always hated that windshield. But I had a buddy who was getting into riding, needed a bike. I said, hey, all things considered, for a 1000, this bike's pretty tame. You want to try it? He had rode a couple, and he said, sure. So I sold him the bike. I regretted it, because I love that bike. Well, wouldn't you know it, Year goes by. He hadn't really embraced riding quite as much as he thought. The bike had just sat. Offered to sell it back to me, so I bought it back. Well, let's go to the tail end of 23. Tail end of 23, I reach out to Rifle Fairing. Hell, I've sent them my money, almost $230. So I email the company, and I get a response from either the GM or the owner. I'm not sure. It seemed like it was a small company. He said, yeah, what's up, man? I said, look, a year ago I bought this windshield from you, and I'm just wondering when I'll be expecting to receive it. He goes, let me see. You ordered a clear windshield? I said, yeah. He goes, we got smoke available. I said, I don't want smoked. I want clear. He goes, yeah. These windshields are all custom made, one-offs. Every one a little different. Each one handmade to our specification. And you are 26th in the queue. I said, oh. He said, I can refund you your money. I said, no, that won't be necessary. But you think sometime soon? He said, probably 3 months. Try 3 or 4 months and we'll get you your windshield out. I got the email still. 2024 comes. Well, by this point I've sold the bike and forgot all about it again. 2025 comes around. Bought the bike back. And I start taking it to work. And as I'm flying down Highway 80, really feel wishy-washy. Like, ugh. Whatever's going on with this front end is not good and I don't like it. So, decided the only thing that's changed is the windshield. And I've taken this bike on a trip down to southern Missouri for a weirdo meetup a couple years ago. See the video on my channel. I'll drop a little link. Fun trip. Anyway, reach back out to Rifle Fairing. Hey, what's going on with my windshield? Email comes back undeliverable. Whoa, that ain't good. Try a couple more times. Each one comes back undeliverable. I'm a pretty patient, pretty understanding guy. However, it's my belief you're going to close shop, refund people their money automatically. Rifle Fairing went out of business. Ain't a company no more. Along with my money. It ain't my money no more. Well, if you go to Rifle Fairing now, you type them into the old search browser, it'll take you to a company selling that domain. Doesn't do me a lick of good. So, back to the drawing board. Back to tracking down a Madstad because I'm a little salty with Rifle Fairing. Now, a little flashback again. I think it was also in 2023, maybe early 24. My best friend and rider, Kelly, he got me into riding, and I was getting him into possibly touring. He found a Kawasaki Voyager he was interested in down in Wisconsin at a place called Suters Speed Shop. Sounds cool enough. Their slogan, when fast ain't fast enough, go to Suters. So we go down there, trailer and truck, and find this bike and buy this bike. Real nice bike. That video's on my channel as well, Motorcycle Graveyard. Drop a thumbnail here. Well, Suters is also like a motorcycle salvage yard, or anything with wheels and a motor besides cars. They had scooters, they had ATVs, but mostly motorcycles. A couple of real big outbuildings too, just full of parts. I'm talking windjammer fairings with leather pockets, and the leather's still in good shape like it came out of the factory yesterday. Stuff from the 70s, stuff from the 60s, probably earlier. While there, I noticed they had a couple Kawasaki Concourses. Now you have to understand, I'm a bargain shopper. I don't make a lot of money, so I try to stretch my dollar as far as I can. And I'd been eBaying and marketplacing these windshields for some time. An OEM one would be about $220 to $250 in whatever condition it's in. Again, this bike's old enough to drink, so I do worry about the shape of the windshield. And a used one like the one, or a aftermarket one like the one I bought from Buddy Bezos, $170. It's a lot of money, especially considering I already bought an aftermarket one and it's a piece of crap, and I had already had an OEM one and know it's good but don't really want to pay OEM money. So what do? Light bulb goes off. Ding! Suters Speed Shop. Call up Suters, get a real nice man in parts named Jordan. Jordan, if you're watching this, from your buddy Bill, who's also in parts. I work at Harley Davidson Big Barn at the parts counter. And I want to say I appreciate you, sir. I say, hey Jordan, this is Bill. I'm looking for Kawasaki Concourse windshield, the old ZG1000A. He says, yeah, let me go take a look. Call you back. A little bit of time goes by, calls me back. Yeah, Bill, we got one of them windshields. I said, cool, man, cool. Hey, what do you want for that windshield? He goes, $50. I said, $50? Are you serious? Let's get it done. Wrap it up. He goes, cool, man. When can you be in to grab it? I said, oh, hey, bro, Jordan. I'm in Iowa. Can you ship? He goes, yeah, we can ship. Gonna charge you some money. I said, oh, how much? He goes, $20. I said, you got yourself a deal. So about a week goes by and my windshield arrives and I rush home from work to check it out. Almost immediately I'm a little disappointed. This is half a windshield and it's not got the factory bolt pattern for a Kawasaki windshield. Kawasaki has 10 spots where the screw and well nuts go in. This windshield has 6 and looks nothing like a factory or aftermarket Cowie windshield. It says, shoot, something got lost in translation. But you know, I've done enough Googling and enough research that I recognize this windshield. No way. Could it be? Call Suters back up. Hey, this is Bill. I bought a windshield from you. I got a problem. Had the front desk. Said, hey Bill, let me get you to Jordan. He's our parts guy. He'll call you back. I'm on my way back to work. On my way back to work and Jordan calls me and says, hey man, what's up? You got a problem? I said, I ain't got no problem, man. I actually hope I got a solution. I said, I bought a windshield from you a little while ago. He goes, yeah, I pulled it. I said, cool. Hey, this windshield ain't like stock for or OEM for a Kawasaki, but I think it might be half of a rifle fairing system windshield. Rifle on it, could you? He said, oh, sure. Well, let me back up. When I told him the first time the windshield I was looking for, I also mentioned, hey, I made a video about you guys. Hope I did you some justice. I had a really good time checking out your salvage yard. He said, oh, that's cool. Even called me back just to ask me about my channel and what the video was called. So again, appreciate your support, Jordan. Happy to support Suters. Well, he goes out. I think he called me from his personal phone. Hey, Bill, yep, I got another part of a fairing here. It says rifle. I said, oh, what? No way, man.
Ta-da! Look who it is.
This motherfucker.
Our salvage yard and on your channel. I said, cool. So, now we're here today. I'm out ripping and roaring and having a good ride with my new fancy windshield system. That's the story I had for you. Let's go take a look at the windshield. Away from your, when you're walking away from your bike or when you're walking up to your bike, you don't feel a sense of like love in your heart, you probably got the wrong bike. I love this bike. I love my Harley too. Each one has its own spirit, its own character, its own soul, something you don't get from the new bikes. New bikes, yeah, they move, they rip, they roar, they make the noises, but they got no soul. So here we are, the rifle fairing lower with the rifle fairing upper. Nice little cutout for wind while still not uplifting the front end, keeping it nice and planted. I love this bike. I found a guy who makes highway pegs just for this little sport bike. Got me this wonderful, a lot of you have seen this, 1986 Honda Elite top box. Honda! With working light. I've also got a set of USB ports in here in case I need to charge anything. You got the phone holder, camera holder, heated grips, and some foams because the heated grips had melted away into nothing, so this was the best I could find without having to replace the whole grips, and I don't know that I can find something that'll work. Hard to say. Long story short, patience won the day. Patience and a little thinking outside the box. I can't wait to go visit Suters again. I can't wait to check out what else they might have for an old Connie like mine. They got a lot of vintage parts. If you're looking for something special, Suters Speed Shop in Wisconsin, check them out. With that, we'll take a little look at this here lake. I'll let you guys get back to your day. Your old buddy Bleek Ride saying, hey, like this video. Don't take you but a moment. It means the world to me. If you haven't already, will you please subscribe? And if you can, just ride.